Hi, and welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy, and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, February 13th, 2026. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoy this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. Also included in the description box is a coupon code that you can use anytime you shop on knitpicks.com, and that will give you 15% off your order if you would like to include this code. And also included down below in the description box is a link to my email address, as well as a link to my Ko-fi account if you would like to donate to help me as I mail out different prizes throughout the year. And I appreciate anyone who has donated. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I have a few finished objects to share with you all today. The first one is another classic ribbed hat. I have made so many of these. I believe that this is my number 38. Yes, number 38 of this pattern that I have knit. So it's definitely a favorite of mine. It is a free pattern on the Purl Soho website. It is designed by Jake Canton. I typically make the adult small size, and that is what I have done again on this one. I also have typically used fingering weight and held it double, as this is a DK weight pattern. And again, that is what I did with this hat. This yarn that I used is a mystery to me. I don't know, it didn't have a label on it at all, but I'm pretty confident that it was a fingering weight. It was a single ply, and it just has beautiful dark blue and charcoal gray colors mixed throughout. And my 16-year-old son saw me working on this and really liked how it looked and asked if he could have it. So he's very anxious to get this. So I'm happy to gift it to him. I, again, like I said, cast on the adult small size, but I always knit my hats to a length of 9.5 inches before I do the crown decreases, which is longer than what the original pattern calls for, because I prefer to have an extra long brim to fold up. The decreases are done in a spirally type of way, and I really like how that looks. I used US 3.25 millimeter needles for this. I started it on January 22nd and finished it on February 3rd. And I believe that is it for this one. After I recorded my last episode, that was on January 30th, on January 31st, I cast on 4 new projects that I wanted to make. And I finished 2 of them already. They were all of the projects that I cast on were with worsted to Aran weight yarn. So a couple of them were really quick to start and finish. The first one I made for myself, and it is a balaclava. Actually, all of the 4 new cast-ons that I started are for myself. So I do make a lot of gift knits, but I have started 4 new projects that are all for myself. This one I made out of necessity, although now the temperatures have really warmed up, but I typically like to take my dog for a walk every day. But I don't typically go if the feels like temperature is below 30. That's kind of my cutoff point. But even at going when it's around feels like 30 degrees outside, Fahrenheit of course, I still am quite chilly in my face. And so I thought I would make myself a balaclava. So that's what this is. I would put it on, but you know, it just kind of crushes everything and I have makeup on, so I don't want to mess with it right now. So anyway, you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like with a face opening here. I found a free pattern. Actually, it's a drops pattern, and drops, I think all of drops patterns are free. But I have heard, and I can testify by trying in the past to make drops patterns, that they are very difficult to make. They're just not written very clearly, in my opinion. And I believe that many people would agree with me on that. They're just kind of bare bones patterns. They're just confusing. I have tried a few different times to make a drops pattern, or even just pulling up a free one and looking at it, and it's just really confusing. But I took a look at this pattern, and it was I thought it looked pretty easy to work with. So it is called Drops 116-26. Not a very good name, but it is a free pattern on the drop, through Drops. So anyway, I started this on January 31st and I finished it on February 7th. It was knit from the bottom up. I used some leftover yarn that I had that was gifted to me from Purl Soho for a project that I made last year, kind of like a sample project for them, kind of. Not really, not technically a sample project, but anyway, it was a crocheted baby blanket that I made last year. And the yarn that I used is Purl Soho Till, which is classified as Aran weight. It is 100% Andean Highland wool, and I used 4 colorways: Giant Sequoia, Berry Pie, Lilac Mauve, and Alpine Rose. I also made quite a few modifications to the pattern. I used US 8 5mm needles, which is smaller than what the pattern recommended, I believe, but I have a pretty loose gauge with my knitting. The original pattern only calls for a little bit of ribbing at the bottom here, and then the rest of, the majority of that balaclava is made using stockinette stitch. There is a bit of ribbing around the opening, the face opening, but I just decided to continue the 2x2, so knit 2, purl 2 ribbing throughout the entirety of the balaclava, just so I would have a really nice snug fit. And I thought it looked nice as well. It does look kind of funny when it's not on a head because it cinches in so much, but it stretches really well and fits nicely on the face. Anyway, it has a really nice long neck length, and I followed the pattern for the neck length. There are a few decreases as you knit up the neck, and then you just bind off some stitches and then recast on some stitches. And I followed the pattern for the numbers for that originally, and I was following the pattern for the length of the hat and the crown decreases, but I got almost completely done, was really getting close to closing up the crown, and I tried it on, and the top of the crown was just really, really tall. It was sticking way up because the crown decreases were really gradual. They recommended that you only decrease 6 stitches every 2 centimeters. And so that ended up with my measurements to do decreases every 4 rounds, and it wasn't decreasing very fast at all. And it was really making a really tall shape. So, and then also when I tried it on, I noticed that the face opening was a little bit too small, and I wanted it to have a little bit more space in the opening for the face. So I ripped back down to the opening again and cast on 4 extra stitches in the face opening. And that was all I needed, was just a few extra stitches so that it would have a little bit more space, so that I can, when I have it on, I can pull this section underneath my chin if I want to. Before it was too tight and I couldn't even really pull it down without the top part covering over my eyes. Anyway, so I just reknit that, and then I had to kind of finagle my decreases since I had 4 extra stitches, but it's just for me to wear on my walks with my dog, so it doesn't really matter if it's perfect. But then, anyway, the decreases, I actually followed kind of the same rate of decreasing that is included in the classic ribbed hat. Even though this is 2x2 ribbing and the classic ribbed is 1x1 ribbing. But I kind of still did the decreases as quickly as the classic ribbed hat recommends. So I kind of just did my own thing on that. I think that pretty much covers it though. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. I actually haven't used it yet because once I finished it, we really haven't had a lot of cool temperatures. I haven't taken my dog on a walk anyway since I finished this, where I needed this, because the temperatures have really warmed up around here. In fact, today it's supposed to be in the 60s. So that's crazy. I'm not complaining because it's really nice to have this warmer weather. But yeah, I haven't needed it, but I'm sure it will come in handy at some point down the road. And it was nice to use up a little bit of that leftover yarn that I had. Okay, my next finished object, I have a funny, cool, neat story, I think. So around the new year, I had thought I had thought of a scarf that I have heard of in the past that I really have liked, but I couldn't quite remember where I had heard about it, I probably watched it on a knitting podcast, that's probably where I heard about it, but I couldn't remember which podcast I had heard it on. I could not remember the name of the pattern. And I hadn't heard about anybody talking about it for quite a while, long time. Anyway, the only thing I remembered was that it was kind of a vintagey inspired scarf that just fit around the neck. And I thought at least one of the ends had an opening in it where you could stick one part through the other, and then it kind of had two leaf shapes that hung down here. And it was all done in garter stitch. That's all I could really remember. I didn't know a name or anything. So I went on to Ravelry and I tried to look, but maybe you know that looking for something on Ravelry can be pretty tricky if you don't know the exact title of the pattern. And I didn't, of course. Anyway, I had no luck. I looked for quite a while and I had no luck finding this scarf that I had heard of in the past. So I gave up. And then that very same evening, I was watching a YouTube channel by one of my favorites, who is Emily of Wildenburn, and she was going through her introduction for her 12 cast-ons of Christmas. And lo and behold, one of the projects that she wanted to start for her 12 cast-ons of Christmas was this scarf. Oh, and I forgot to tell you. So when I was looking on Ravelry, Emily's name popped into my mind, like maybe it was Emily that talked about it on one of her podcasts. So I even went into Emily's Ravelry project page to see if this pattern was in her projects anywhere, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, oh, never mind. Anyway, so funny. Then I was watching her 12 cast-ons of Christmas introductions where she went through all of the different projects that she wanted to start. And this pattern was on there. I was like, what are the chances that the exact same day I'm looking for this pattern, Emily talks about it? And I had just looked on her project pages. I just thought that was so funny. Anyway, so get to the point. The pattern is called the Miss Marple scarf, and it is a free pattern by Suzanne S-VV. I don't know what is the deal with her initials there. I don't know, that seems a little funny, but that's how it's listed on Ravelry. So I started this scarf on January 31st as well, and I finished it on February 10th. And it is just knit from one end to the other. And you do make this cool opening on both sides, actually, where you split your stitches between two different needles, and then you knit some ribbing, and both sides have this kind of opening so that you can fit one end into the other. So, and then, well, okay, so I started on this end and I increased my stitches, and then you do the little ribbing section, which was fun to do. I'd never done anything like that before. And then you increase your stitches and you knit for quite a while in just plain garter stitch, and then just mirror. So you decrease and then do the same thing on the other end. And it works up so cute, I think. So I'm still really happy with it. So then it has quite a thick section that you can fold over and wear around your neck like this. And then you can stick one end into the other. And wear it like this. And I think it's so cute. I just love how it turned out. It was really fun and easy to make. It's made with worsted weight yarn. I used some yarn that was gifted to me by a viewer of this channel. The yarn was dyed by Urth yarns. It's on their Monokrom worsted base, which is 100% extra fine superwash merino, and the color is number 4067. I used US 8 5mm needles for the majority of the project. When you do the ribbing, it does call for you to go down to a smaller needle size, so I went down to US 6 4mm needles. And I also went down in my needle size from what was recommended for this pattern as well, due to my loose gauge. But I'm really happy with this, and thank you, Emily, so much for mentioning this pattern at just the right time. That was so awesome. Anyway, so I don't think she has finished this project yet, not that I have seen, but I am quite behind on my YouTube videos, so maybe she's posted something that I haven't seen. But anyway, I know she had started this, and anyway, I was just so happy to come across that pattern at just the right time. So anyway, this was a fun one to work up. I think it would make a great gift too, because it would be really easy for anybody to wear. All right, those are all of my finished objects. I also have another classic ribbed hat on the go that is being held in my crossbody bag that I take with me everywhere. And I started, so this one is number 39. I just have a few yarns set aside that I'm planning on making several more of these. This one I started on February 2nd, and I'm just using some leftover DK weight yarns this time. But I am otherwise making it the same as always. So adult small, US 3.25 millimeter needles. And yeah, I just have these green colors that were in my stash. I have one more green color that I might get to. I'm not exactly sure, but I might end up going into this color green as well for the top. And I typically just make these hats to keep in my collection of things to gift to people. I'm not really sure what all of these yarns are. They're all just little leftover bits. So anyway, super simple 1x1 ribbing. So knit one, purl one all the way around. I love having these as a easy on the go project to take with me wherever I go. Nice and easy. Again, that is a pattern designed by Jake Canton for Purl Soho. My other projects, well, I'll show you my other two new works in progress that I started on January 31st. I'm very excited. They're both new garments that I'm working on. I'm very excited about both of them. The first one I'm holding in this beautiful basket that I thrifted a while ago. I don't remember when. And I am finally making a cabled cardigan out of this yarn that I have had in my stash for a long time, and I've planned to make a blue cabled cardigan for a long time, and I just hadn't gotten around to it, and I had changed my mind quite a few times on what pattern I wanted to make, but I finally landed on one and started this beautiful pattern by Sari Nordlund. I have never made one of her patterns before, but I know she is a wonderfully respected and just a really great designer, so I'm excited to finally be making one of her patterns. The yarn that I am using is a discontinued yarn from Knit Picks called Upcycle Alpaca Blend. It's worsted weight. It's in the colorway Lapis. I have used this base before, but on a sport weight. And it is 33% alpaca, 34% wool, and 33% acrylic. And I really love this color. I don't have anything in my wardrobe that is like, besides jeans, that is this color, but it's really just a beautiful denim blue color that I think is great. I was inspired to make a blue cabled cardigan after I watched a newer version of Anne of Green Gables. And in that, I can't remember when that movie came out, but maybe it's like the newest version of Anne of Green Gables that came out. And in that show, she is wearing a blue cabled cardigan that I just love. Anyway, that's how I originally got inspired to make a blue cabled cardigan. I am making the Billie cardigan, and it is so pretty. I just love it so much, and I've made quite a bit of progress. I just split for the sleeves this morning, and that is very exciting. It is knit from the top down. I am making the 4th size. I'm using the recommended needle size for this, which is US 7 4.5 millimeters for the body. And it's coming along really well. I haven't made any mistakes yet. I'm always nervous when I'm doing cables or anything intricate like that I'm going to make a mistake, but I'm pretty sure I haven't made any mistakes yet as far as like crossing the cables the wrong way. I hope not anyway. I hope I haven't made any mistakes. It's getting to the point now where it's not quite so nerve-wracking to do a cable row. You only do cables every 4th row, so that's really nice. And some of those cable rows, like when you're doing these larger cable sections, you only do those every 8 rows. So it's not too bad. You get, quite a few rows where you're just knitting and purling. And that makes it easy, but it's such an intricate and gorgeous design, isn't it? So pretty. Oh, I think I can try this on so you can kind of get an idea of how it fits. My other garment that I'm making, I can't try on right now because I don't have it on a big enough cable, but this one I can. I'm really happy with it. Actually, I can't stretch it out probably as far as it will because it's like on, you know, I can't stretch it anymore on the needles, but you can kind of get an idea. It will be a little bit more oversized than how it's showing right now. And of course, I'll add in a button band and everything, and the neck will get cinched up a bit better once I add in that neck band as well. I just think the cables are so gorgeous on this. I'm so pleased with how it's looking. It's so pretty. I love it so much. So anyway, I'm really happy with how that's coming along, and I think it's going to be great. It probably won't be done until the weather is until we're completely out of winter, and I won't get to wear it until it cools off again at the end of the year, but that's okay. I'm so happy with it. I just think the color is so beautiful. I love it so much. Okay, I think that's all for that one. And then another pattern that I started, another sweater that I started is another free pattern. It's called the Roomy Raglan, and it's designed by Jules Efterfield, but it only comes in one size. It's more of a recipe, or maybe it's really well written, but she just kind of published her own notes basically, I think. But I mean, it's really well written. So, and I think it would be really easy to modify because it's just a simple raglan pullover sweater. And so I think you could just continue your raglan increases if you needed it to be larger, or stop them sooner if you needed it smaller. But it is supposed to be a little oversized anyway, so I don't know. I'm hoping it will work out for me. I don't know for sure. I was also kind of inspired to make something along these lines after watching a video of Stephanie's from Edible Thoughts Makes. She had in one of her recent videos, she had made a pullover sweater holding, I don't remember, I think it was worsted weight yarn held together with some mohair scraps. And I thought, hey, I could do that. I'm not making the same pattern as she made, but I'm doing that same idea. So I have 5 balls of this pretty yarn that my cousin sent to me. And it is by Plymouth Yarn Company. It's called Coffee Beenz. It's 75% acrylic and 25% wool. And I believe it's just a color number for this one as well. 93, ooh, it's kind of covered up on that one. 9389 is the color number. Anyway, I just thought it would be fun to use up this yarn and hold it together with a bunch of my silk mohair lace weight leftover bits. So I have, actually, I don't even know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different colors of mohair that I'm putting into this pullover sweater. And it started at the top with some 1x1 ribbing. There are some short row shaping. There is some short row shaping in the back. I think I kind of did that wrong a little bit. There's not much. There's only a few rows of short row shaping, but I feel like I didn't do it quite right, but I think it worked out anyway. I don't know. I think it's okay. I ended up with some bigger holes where I had those short row turns, but I was able to go back and cinch them up a little bit, so it's okay, I think. Anyway, I'm just randomly striping in my mohair scraps. I have plenty of all of them except for this light tan color. That was a Knit Picks Aloft yarn in the oak colorway, and I used up all that I had, so I don't have any more of this light color, but I have a purple and this light periwinkle, and I have a lot of this teal color, and then a darker gray that basically matches the original color of the yarn, and then a black, and I am right now, you can't even probably tell yet, I'm right now using this light gray color. And there's several different kinds of, besides Knit Picks Aloft, I also have Plymouth Yarn Sari Stratus in a couple of the colorways, the black and the I think the dark gray were both that one. And then I also have, maybe that's the light gray actually. I think then the dark gray is this Navia Alpaca, which is just alpaca actually instead of mohair and silk. But I think it'll work just fine because they're all just kind of the same. They're all just lace weight fluffy yarns, and I think it's working out great. So I'm happy with how it's coming along so far. I think it looks really cool. It's just going to be an oversized pullover with random colorful stripes throughout it. So I am using US 7 4.5 millimeter needles for this as well. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Just is a lot of fun, easy. I'm just doing raglan increases right now until the pattern calls for you to continue doing raglan increases until your raglan measures 12 inches. I don't think I'll go quite that deep. I'll probably go to 10 inches, I think, before I split for sleeves, but I'll try it on and see what I think when I get to 10 inches and go from there. I don't know actually how far I am right now, but I'm definitely not at 10 inches yet, so I still have a little ways to go. But it's a super fun and easy project to work on. My last work in progress that I have put any time into lately is my oldest whip. I started this way back in 2020. July of 2020, I started this granny stripe blanket that I use up the tiniest bits of my leftover fingering weight scraps. Anything that is 3 grams or less goes into this blanket. And I have worked on this for quite a while since I recorded last. I've put in quite a bit of time into this, but it's slow growing, both because it's fingering weight and I'm using a 2.75 millimeter hook, and because every little scrap I am using the Russian join method to join them, and so I have to take the time to join my little tiny pieces of scraps together. But it's so satisfying to me to use up all these little tiny scraps that it's well worth it to me. And the reason why it's so slow growing is because I don't work on it very often. I wait until I have a bunch of my tiny little scraps saved up before I start working on it again. So it's been a long time since I have worked on it. There's a progress keeper right here marking where I was last time I shared it on an episode, but who knows how long ago that was. But I really haven't added that much to it, even though I feel like I've worked on it a lot. But it is just such a fun project to look at and to work on. I really enjoy how it looks. It is just so extremely colorful and scrappy. I just love it so much. I think it's so beautiful. I started with a chain of 300 for this blanket, and I used the tutorial by Bella Coco to familiarize myself with how she did her edge stitches. Otherwise, it's just, granny clusters throughout, so it's pretty simple other than that. So that is the last work in progress that I have to share with you all. Before I close out this episode, I want to announce the winner for the yarn that I talked about on my last episode, and I have some more yarn to give away. Last time I recorded, I shared some yarn that had been gifted to me, and I was going to be giving away to a random commenter on my last video. Thank you so much to everybody who entered to win this beautiful Rowan yarn that is called Rowan Spray. There's 1 ball of this green color and then 3 balls of the pink. And then there's also 1 huge cake of yarn by Blue Heron Yarns included in this giveaway as well. And I did a random comment picker, and the winner is m.woolly4547. Thank you so much for entering. Congratulations to you. Please, if you would just contact me through email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. Let me know your first and last name and your mailing address, and I'll be happy to get these goodies off in the mail to you as soon as possible. And then I have some more yarn to give away. This yarn I announced as a prize for the final prizes for the Make 9 2025 mal, but the winner did not contact me, so I thought I would just give it away here on a video instead. The prize includes 3 beautiful hanks of this yarn by Bartlett Yarns. They are such a pretty color. It is 100% wool yarn. It is 2-ply, 210 yards for 4 ounces. And the colorway is called Lilac Heather. So you'll get 3 of these beautiful hanks of yarn. Also included with this prize will be this package of cute little progress keepers. So they have little floral designs on them. So again, just like last time, if you are interested in winning this yarn, just please leave a comment down below. This time, the keyword, if you want to win this yarn, will be Bartlett. So B-A-R-T-L-E-T-T. Include that in your comment, and then I will know that you're interested in winning this yarn. Again, it is open up to anybody worldwide, but just please keep in mind that I won't be able to take care of the costs that are on your end, as I know there are a lot of countries where it may be cost prohibitive for you to receive a gift from America. But I'm happy to ship them anywhere in the world if you're willing to accept them on your end. I want to just remind you all that, of course, I will not contact you through any comment letting you know that you are a winner. I will only announce the winner on my next video, which will probably be in a couple of weeks. And so through my next video, you will find out who the winner is, just like I announced today for the last winner. So I think that is everything I have to share with you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the things that I have been working on, and I hope that you all are enjoying the things that you're working on as well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.